All right. Well, welcome Australian Veteran News viewers. My name is Mark Schroffel, and today I'm speaking to Elaine Rotor. Elaine is from the Australian Catholic University, and she's going to be speaking to us about the educational pathways available to veterans in Australia for entry into the Australian Catholic University and the programs that they might be able to engage with there. So, Elaine, a warm welcome and thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Now, one of the things I do want to mention about Elaine is that you are a veteran yourself with the Canadian Armed Forces.
That's right. Yep,
So,
the Royal Canadian Air Force. I was a logistics officer for 8 years.
Okay, so maybe a little bit of a backstory. How did you find your way into the role that you're in at the moment? Before you tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, well, I came over 12 years ago for my husband's work. So we left Canada and then I wound up teaching English as an additional language to international students at ACU. And then, especially through COVID, I was the international student advisor, helping them to continue their studies. And then all the while that was happening, almost 3 years ago, we were launching our veteran program here at ACU. And I saw it grow from 20 to nearly 200 enrolled students, either serving or veterans of the ADF. And I thought, what a perfect role. I know the systems of ACU. I know how to support students, how they can access our services, and I can identify with their military backgrounds. So very fortunately, I competed for this newly established role here in Melbourne. There's also the same role in New South Wales, and we're led by Aaron Cornwall, who's served as a combat engineer, and he's up in Brisbane, where we have the majority of our students. It's just been great.
That sounds like a very nice pathway for you into that role, and it sounds like you'd be quite supportive there. Can you provide our audience with an overview of the program and what's available? You've got 200 odd students in there at the moment. What are they doing? Where are they? I'm assuming it's not all just in Melbourne and that kind of thing. So if you tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes, we have 30 students enrolled in Melbourne, 30 in Sydney. We have a couple of campuses there, Strathfield and North Sydney and Blacktown. And the majority are up in Queensland, where it's sort of the birth of the program. Mm-hmm. And that's where Aaron, he operates from there. And the program is sort of in 3 parts. One is the Veteran Entry Program, and it is a way for serving or ex-serving members to apply with ease, to not have to dig out, their high school transcripts, or even if they did start university and it didn't go well, they don't have to dig that up. All they need to do is to submit their ADO service long, and our direct entry admission staff take a look at the number of years served, the rank achieved, and they do their magic and calculate an entry rank score. And most students achieve an 82 equivalent ATAR, which is enough to enter most of our programs, our courses. So that ease of entry is something that we're pretty proud of. And then once students apply, if it's a bachelor degree, most of our courses have a core unit that military members and veterans actually receive a credit for. And it's about justice and the global world, which obviously they've got some pretty good experience there. So they don't have to take that unit. It is given credit granted. So that's pretty special to at least have one unit under your belt.
Mm.
And that applies to most of our undergraduate degrees. So we've got this great entry program. Once students apply, they can then, depending on their program, apply for further recognition of prior learning. It's especially good, for example, someone who wants to do an MBA. They've achieved the rank of Army equivalent sergeant or captain level and up, and they can study an MBA or a graduate diploma in business admin, which is a pathway, a one-year pathway to the MBA. And they receive specific units as credit granted. So that's pretty appealing, and that can be done online. We've got quite a selection of online courses as well. So that's how we reach those who are in the military and are maybe planning for what they'd like to get in terms of higher education when they leave the forces. So that entry program's pretty nice. And then to help our students to succeed in their study, we offer a veteran transition program, which is a 2-week intensive condensed course. It's based on one of our philosophy units. And in that course, they take it for, 2 weeks, about 3 weeks before semester or orientation starts. So it's all fresh. And it teaches them the academic writing standards that the university is looking for, gives them an opportunity to practice and get a grade on their assessments. Speaking, public speaking opportunities, presentations, and it also lets them know how we like to do our citations, referencing, and it's all focused on a theme where they're requested to kind of give reflective thought and an essay, which is new, that touchy-feely thing.
So it sounds like it eases them into the mechanics of student life. These students, are we talking about full-time, part-time? What's how does it work? Any online activities as well?
Yeah, the course, the veteran transition course, is offered face-to-face this coming first 2 weeks of February, and it's also offered online. So we have a few students from Townsville, for instance, who are going to commence their studies online, and that enables them to take advantage of all the skills.
If anybody's thinking about getting involved in this program, what's the deadline, and where do they go for the information they need to get started?
Well, all they have to do is just Google ACU military experience, and that will bring them to our information about the Veterans Entry Program, the Veterans Transition Program, and they submit their application there. We're taking applications up until the 14th of February. So in that case, they would just miss the Veteran Transition Program, but we offer it mid-year as well. So by then they can identify their strengths and weaknesses academically and then join us mid-year for that. And we also have one-on-one academic skills advisors at the university for all students.
Do you have any success stories or big turnaround stories where maybe someone had a little bit of a struggle but got some support and came through in the end, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's part of my role. Once the students are in, then we're here to make sure that they can navigate all the different systems, academic regulations. What do you do when maybe you're falling behind a little bit? So we did have a couple of students that they had personal circumstances occur and they needed to defer their exams. So we help support them to do that. If they're communicating with their course coordinator to get that opportunity to take a deferred exam or to get a deadline extension, if there's any, pushback on that, they let us know, and we advocate for our students, because many actually of our students are still serving in the reserves, and especially with the floods here in Victoria, they were asked to go and help. And so that kind of mucked up their plans to submit their assessments. So we're there to help educate and orient the course coordinators to what the circumstances are for this particular cohort.
Now, one of the other things that we had a conversation earlier, and one of the things mentioned to me was that you have a sort of like a student association for veterans at ACU. How does that work, and how do they get together and support each other?
So that's up in Queensland. They have a really active one because we're very small, and the student who had initiated the one in Melbourne has now moved on. We're looking at reestablishing that here in Melbourne. But up in Queensland, they get together for coffee chats. They do check-ins on each other and have events through the year. They have a special place there, kind of a veteran hub they call the Cages, and it has a lot of regimental memorabilia in it. And so the student association would meet there. And it just, because in the military, we're so used to a tight-knit community, that's what the goal is for those who still want to enjoy that and reflect and be understood. This is one of the advantages. So I meant to say the success story of that student was they got their deferred exam and they got their special circumstances approved. So it's part of the support.
And that's part of your ongoing role across
that's right.
That network. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's an opportunity for them to get what they want. They don't have to be involved in the Cages or the social network, but if they want to get involved with it, indeed, if they wanted to be involved in initiating something, say in Victoria, there's the opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're very focused on building expanding really a veteran-friendly campus. We recently collaborated with our campus ministry for our Remembrance Day. We always do an early Anzac Day. And so we have student veterans who volunteer to raise the flags. And every year we have a student veteran who volunteers to give a speech, a reflection. And this is, for many staff and students attending, is their first exposure about how wonderful it is that you can serve in the military and then pick up your education afterwards and be so enthusiastic that you're driving in from Geelong to contribute to the campus this way.
Yeah. Okay. And what's some of the feedback that you're getting from your ACU colleagues on the veteran students' involvement in?
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's fantastic. When I go to sort of inter-faculty and staff, we have those once a month, a social, and I tell them what I'm doing. Some of them know about the program and some of them don't. Those who know, for instance, our digital education coordinator, who's responsible for our online learning, she was amazing. She said, what can we do to support, your students who are studying online? We have online coaches, but I'm not sure that they're the right fit as a mentor for your cohort. let's get together, let's talk about what we can do. We have other course coordinators who are in charge of placements, and they are so enthusiastic about possibly collaborating with RSL Victoria to provide placements for our social work program. So the engagement is really good, and the more the staff learn about this very special program that the Vice Chancellor endorses 150%, it's growing, and it's wonderful to see the advances that we've made. We had an opportunity to invite staff, students, and our external stakeholders to a dinner that celebrated awards for student veterans who were doing things in the community, and had some very special guests there, and it was wonderful. But that's all part of our goal of making this just so well known to our university, but also to everyone else, and welcome them to be a part of it.
Well, Elaine, it sounds like a terrific program, and you're clearly a wonderful advocate for student veterans at ACU, and encouraging, I guess, people to pick up the opportunity wherever they are. My final question for you would be, what would your advice be to somebody who may be interested in considering university but are feeling uncertain or unsure about their abilities or their academic background?
Oh, definitely reach out to us. And I often am on the phone. So we have a team, Adam, Aaron, me. So it'll just be the lucky draw. Give us a call and we can talk a little further about, their concerns, and hopefully they'll see that they don't need to be daunted by this prospect of getting a university degree. And they can also, if you're shy, you can email us. When you go to the ACU website, there's a link to send us an email. But we're basically student veteran services at acu.edu.au, and that'll be one of us who will answer you. So I've actually offered a couple of students who've inquired a tour of the university and a chance to visit us and have a cup of coffee. I've got the veterans blend on from Soldier On. So yeah, no, if coming to the campus helps, I'm there.
Well, it sounds wonderful and very accessible. So Elaine Rotor, thank you so much for your interview today, and I look forward to sharing this with our viewers.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks very much, Mark, for the opportunity.
Thank you.
And come and join us.